Next up is this year's Print Award, which recognises an outstanding feature published in print or online that highlights a story from or relating to a developing country. Let's listen to an extract from each of the articles.
I hope you're ready to get married. In search of Vietnam's kidnapped brides. Kate Hodel for The Guardian. It was the bouncing that finally woke her up. They were hurtling down a lone dirt road in a thick forest. A street sign in Chinese characters came into view and the bike stopped. Panicking, she dug into her pockets for her mobile phone and started screaming as fast as she could to her sister that she'd been trafficked. She was somewhere on the border with China. An older man emerged from the trees and grabbed the phone. Then he put a knife to Cam's throat. "You're already in China. You can't go home now," he snarled. "I hope you're ready to get married, because that's what you're going to be." My husband sold me to a brothel. Corinne Redfern for LUK.
The only Muslim country in the world where sex work is legal, it's estimated that there are over 20 brothel villages dotted across Bangladesh, with up to 10,000 employees split between them. There's one rule, but it's consistent. Every sex worker must be in possession of a police-issued certificate declaring she's there willingly and that she's over 18. How she gets it, how she gets to the brothel in the first place, is a question few seem to want to ask. Moina didn't come willingly, and she wasn't 18. Like thousands of girls, she had been brought to the brothel by her husband, who sold her without her knowledge or consent. "I never found out why," she says.
The Uncounted, Azmat Khan and Anand Gopal for New York Times Magazine.
It was 1 a.m. when Basim finally shut down the computer and headed upstairs to bed. He settled in next to Mayada, who was fast asleep. Sometime later, he snapped awake. His shirt was drenched, and there was a strange taste on his tongue. Blood? The air was thick and acrid. He looked up. He was in the bedroom, but the roof was nearly gone. He could see the night sky, the stars over Mosul. Basim reached out and found his legs pressed just inches from his face by what remained of his bed. He began to panic. He turned to his left, and there was a heap of rubble. "Mayada!" he screamed. "Mayada!" It was then that he noticed the silence.
And to present the award, one of the judges on this year's panel, the foreign editor at Monocle, Megan Gibson.
It was such an honor to judge this panel, or this category, and it was particularly humbling to read each of the 3 nominated stories. All exemplified sterling reporting, gripping, well-crafted narratives, and nuanced insight into complex issues. And while each story was excellent, one piece in particular served as a potent reminder of the power of journalism to not only highlight untold stories, but to hold power to account. It's my pleasure to announce that The Uncounted was the winner.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here tonight. My co-author Anand Gopal and I are indebted to the hundreds of Iraqis who opened up to us for this story. Many of them were airstrike survivors, including Basim Razo, whose excerpt you heard earlier tonight. About a month ago, Basim was actually able to leave Iraq. He had lost his wife, his daughter, his brother, and his nephew in a U.S. airstrike. And about a month ago, he landed in New York. The following morning, we went to the 9/11 memorial. And as we walked past pieces of rubble mounted on pedestals, walls plastered with photos of loved ones, birthday cards, tributes, and the sound of answering machine goodbyes, Basim told me he was struck by that kind of commemoration. Iraq has been through so much loss, And we've seen so little of that kind of commemoration. At one point, we walked into an atrium where a quote took up the entire expanse of a wall. It said, "No day shall erase you from the memory of time." We wrote this story because we wanted to say the same of Iraqis. Throughout the 2 years that we spent reporting this story, I was constantly gripped in learning the extent to which people would go to seek restitution on behalf of their loved ones. I met a family from Ramadi who were so desperate to prove that their family died in an airstrike that they actually snuck back into ISIS territory and dug up their bodies. For so many Iraqis, commemoration itself becomes an act of justice. Their names are not etched into marble. The rubble from their homes is not encased by velvet rope. Too often they go unnamed and uncounted. But even if Westerners don't know their losses, they will never forget them. Thank you for honoring us tonight.